Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. The following video is a review of the circuit that I designed for our Arduino Design Challenge project. And so I designed a security system, and for my security system I have this on-off switch or an arm disarm switch here, which will change the state of the security system. And when it's disarmed, what we're going to see here on the display screen, if I hit start simulation, default is disarmed, and so what happens is on the LCD screen it says system disarmed, and then my LEDs out here, my RGB LEDs, are all displaying blue, kind of signifying that everything is off right now and things are clear. If I look in my serial monitor, I've also printed out some of this information as I was troubleshooting and getting the circuit up and running. So down here in the serial monitor, it also says system disarmed, and it says 0. 0 is the state of this slide switch. So when I switch it to on, that switch changes to 1 and the system updates. So let's go ahead and do that. Flip the switch, the system is now armed. You can see on the LCD screen it says that system armed, sensors are cleared. I'm only currently using this one motion sensor, but it's telling us that it's actually cleared. And then all of my lights went from blue to green to signify that the system is armed and active. Down here in my serial monitor, I switched the text that came before that 1-0 for the slide switch just to say switch armed, and now it's set to 1 instead of 0. It also says all sensors cleared, and specifically the motion sensor is set to 0. It's a digital sensor. It's plugged into my digital port 8. And so when it detects movement, it goes to a 1. And when it doesn't detect movement, it just sits here and says 0. And so the third state of my security system is when motion is detected. So I'll give you a quick look at that. Interact with the motion sensor. You can see the screen has changed here. It said sensor triggered, motion alert. My speaker, my piezo buzzer, makes a sound kind of like an alarm system would, and all of the LEDs change to red. There were some additional components that I originally looked at as part of my generating concept section, and there was this flex sensor, a force sensor, and a push button sensor. I figured all three of those could be used very similar to like the motion sensor is being used here, except I would use those as like physical contact points. So instead of detecting motion with some type of vision sensor, these could be physical sensors that would be interacted with like under a foot pad or something like that. I also wanted to play around with my infrared signal receiver here, IR receiver, and the remote to see if I could use that as opposed to a slide switch to turn things on and off. And there's also this ambient light sensor, which could be used to detect if somebody had entered a room and either turned on the lights, or maybe they turned off the lights and cut the power, or if they were using flashlights or anything like that to try to navigate inside of my home at night when it's supposed to be dark. So that could be used to detect light. So there's some different options involved with that. As far as my code is concerned, I did this all using the text-based formatting. Because I was using the LCD library, or because I was using an LCD screen, I had to use the LCD library. At the very top there, I made two variables, one for the motion sensor and one for the slide switch itself. In my void setup section, I just start the LCD screen, start the serial monitor, set up all of my inputs and outputs. So I have red, green, and blue for my RGB LED, pins 13, 10, and 7. On pin 9 is an output for the buzzer. Pin 8 is the input for my motion sensor. Pin 6 is the input for my slide switch. Then down here in the void loop section, I simply say if the slide switch is set to 1, then go ahead and do the rest of my code underneath there. If it's not set to 1, then it should all just be off. And then let's see what else in here. So just going through the different modes of writing certain lights, high and low, clearing the screen, printing certain things on the LCD screen and in the serial monitor. This is my motion alert sensor triggered mode. So all the code for that, changing the lights, changing what's being displayed on the screens and in the serial monitor. And lastly, here at the bottom, if that digital read 8 pin is equal to 1, meaning that the motion sensor has detected motion, because that is my pin for my motion sensor, PIR. So if it detects motion, I just have like a little side function for the buzzer itself. And so it'll create a noise of tone 9 at 28 hertz on pin A0. All right, and then else, so if there's no motion detected, then there should not be any sound coming out of the buzzer. And then this is just my else condition for when that slide switch is off. It just says system disarmed, clears the screen, prints what it's supposed to print. So that is a look at my code and my Arduino Design Challenge security system circuit. Hope you liked it.